guest tonight?
Our guest tonight to kick us off is James McQueen.
How y'all doing? It's a pleasure. It's such a pleasure. Gratitude.
uh,
I'm so
what,
excited that you're here, James, because seriously, your vibe when you were walking up to the floor,
Oh,
you
thank
were
you.
you were cool as a cucumber. I'm pretty sure you were
Yeah.
like, I'll be back. Like
Yeah. I mean, it's just. I feel like everybody was saying that, but I feel like. So I've done stuff on. I'm an artist. Like if they didn't talk too much about what I do, but I'm a dancer and choreographer at trade. So and I also have a BFA in musical theater and performance arts. So I'm used to the stage and lights and all of that functioning and focusing on what the task is at hand, right?
mhm.
So that's why I was just so I could just be me, which is very much that. So everyone was like, you acting like you had it. And I was like, that's just how I walk, y'all. Very very relaxed, very easygoing. Have a good time when we need to have a good time. As you saw after when I won the fruits and smoothies, I got my little dance on. And even when I we, didn't get that 1-2 on number 11, last to go, got to semifinals though, gratitude. I still gave out positive energy because that's what it's about. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, connection, making sure other people, and I think I did that for a few of our contestants as well, helping them feel comfortable in regards to like hitting that stage for the first time in front of the lights and whatnot. I think I was a good tool in that space to help like give like connection of human to human and not someone
Yes.
in like crew, you know what I mean? Because they'll just give
I
you
love
advice
that.
and that you hear from like a human perspective in my regard. Not saying crew weren't human because they were amazing.
Yeah, we had like 100%. I will say that McQueen was one of the first people I met. We met at the gazebo on the hotel grounds
Yeah.
that first night. And you had such a vibe, such positivity that I knew at that moment, like no matter what went down, it was going to be a party and it was going to be nothing but fun. And you
Oh,
brought it every
that
week.
first day
So thank you
was
for being awesome.
spectacular. Thank you. You were a beautiful spirit. I mean, you all came to talk to me because my old casual just.
Oh,
oh,
we
we
lost
lost
you.
We
you.
lost you. We lost you for a second, James.
Uh, while before we get him back, last night.
I
Oh,
have
there
to
he is.
have the
Okay.
space.
Hmm?
Sorry, I'm heading out the door as we speak. But I was just saying that I feel like if they didn't chat with me, I'm not saying I would have chatted with anybody, but I'm used to vibing with myself and letting people come to like my energy. That's normally how I guess space function. I love people in general, but I know a lot of people want their own space and their own vibe. So if you want to come over and rock with me, let's rock.
So, James, where do you live? Where are you from?
I'm now located out in Georgia. I live out in Atlanta, Georgia now. I do dance out here, different based projects in dance, television, looking to expand, about to work on my acting, update my resume, and developing all those type of projects. Got me a little good old agent, got me a general
Oh,
manager. So yeah, I'm a hustle and bustle type of guy.
have you
I
have you
love
been
to,
in?
yeah, I
Have
live
you
in
been in a
the
movie? Have you been in a movie, James?
in different base projects, nothing major front screen, not
Oh,
yet, not yet.
okay. That's
So
still good, man.
yeah, yeah, but I'm grateful for all the experiences that I've received so far. But that's the goal. Everybody put that good energy out for me in regards to being on my first role, main screen. And I don't have to even be the lead, honey. I could be the cousin's second cousin, honey. Just give me my 12 months, get me in the door. Let me show you what I can do. And then we can expand. Not everybody has to pop out like extremely, but offering the opportunity is all I seek so I can show you what I can do.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Oh,
Thank you for
Heidi,
joining us. That's amazing. Yes.
Jinx.
Thank you.
We both love it. I just called
Yeah.
you Jinx.
And the 100 contestants versus 50 from last season.
Yeah, Rebecca's in the chat. She's excited to be on here. She's saying that she loves the 100 contestants versus 50. Was there only 50 last season, Claire?
No, but I was gonna let it slide. It was
I was gonna
Oh,
81.
say
I mean, I was
50.
genuinely
It was
asking
more than
Rebecca. I wasn't
50.
being smart. I really thought, was there 50? I have a hard time remembering the names of people on this one. So It's like,
right?
yeah. But last
It's
night
a
was a
lot of
pivotal.
turn and burn.
It is. It's last night was a pivotal episode. To me, this was a great episode as a floor fan because Jacob in the chat brought this up to me. He said people's been playing conservative for like the last 3 episodes, and last night it was balls to the wall, man.
Yeah.
Like Kevin's like, I'm staying. I'm risk. They were all risking it. Megan, I'm gonna risk it. But before it was like, I'm going back to the floor. They can come challenge me. Why is that, Angie?
Last night, it was frankly anybody who went back to the floor was going to be challenged. The person who would return would be the whale, and everybody wanted that 20K at the end of the night rather than maybe hoping for the 250 next week. I think everybody's vulnerable. I think there's no more randomizer. As Megan put it, we're all back in that salad spinner. Once Dan and Mick had gone up there, it was fair game. Everybody was ready. So I think if they couldn't control their category, they were going to control who they challenged in their category. And that's why you saw people just going for it. And it was really fun.
Yeah, you could definitely see that in that space because even on the floor itself, like you said, if you go back to the floor, there was anybody else around you who got picked had only one other option was to hit the center spot. There was nothing left. And that's what I saw as we were hitting toward those last moments. And so I was like, because I broke down how everything was going to happen. Like I knew, I told Kevin,
No place
Oh,
too
we're
high.
losing you
no,
a
you
little
didn't.
bit.
I said, I did know you were going to pick me because of how, like, the process of the math. I didn't get bothered the whole time up until the 11th episode in regard to, what was that I had? I forget. Oh, sorry. In regards to the category that I retained.
News
So it was
personalities.
Personalities.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had to
I
study
know.
hard on that. Even with the studying of that, there was names that I didn't know. And Andrew was like, those were big names. And I was like, who was I studying?
James,
Who was
James,
I
felt bad.
studying?
I'm confused,
And he
James.
got,
You
it's
were
so funny. He got a couple that was on my book that I studied on, like Geraldo Rivera. I was like, "That's Geraldo Rivera," and he couldn't get it out. And I was like, "Say it."
Well, you watch TV with your mama. You kept saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I live with my mama, and when my mama's watching TV, I'm watching it." And I thought, well, I'm sure your mama watched like old school, TV growing up. So folks like Connie Chung and Peter Jennings, I thought
And I
maybe
looked
you
at
would
it.
have
I
known.
knew who Connie Chung was. I just think she didn't cross my mind. She
You were-
definitely didn't cross
After
my
you're like,
mind.
oh, sorry, Connie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, James, you were so polite. You're like, sorry, Connie Chung, and I was like, it's Connie Chung, James, it's Connie Chung.
Laugh, right? I know.
You guessed someone that I was like, wait, what?
And because that was on my list.
And I was like,
Who?
does not even look like that person. I cannot remember who
It
you
was
said.
Lester Holt. I said
Lester
Lester
Holt.
You said
Yes.
For Brian Gumble,
And I
you said
shook my
Lester
head
Holt.
because I was
you
like,
said Lester Holt. I was like, that's not Lester Holt. That's Bryant Gumbel, Real Sports.
and that's where I don't do the real sports.
Brad, before we go down the list, I have a comment and a question. So question, because I wasn't in the podcast and I have it in my listen to, but I haven't had a chance. Who had the notes last time? I bet it was Angie, but I want to see what you say.
It was me, Heidi. Are you crazy?
I'm impressed.
No, it wasn't me at all. Don't be impressed.
Angie, it was you, right? I knew
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
All right, and the comment, a real quick comment before we start. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, Angie's now part of our network, and he's so great with us. For the record, for anybody who's listening, we had no idea she would make it to the final episode. However, we all suspected it, right? Like we're like, oh, she's making it far. But we really had no idea she was making it this far. And I'm still cheering for you to win. And please don't tell me who wins, because I want to be truly surprised.
Oh yeah, Rebecca in the chat. If you're still watching right now, it's true. We didn't know, Angie. We talk about this all the time. I said you would be gone second episode. I predicted she was dead second episode. So we genuinely had no clue here. None. Claire, maybe, I don't know, but but Heidi and I clueless.
Claire knew what's going on.
I knew she was going to last, and she solidified to me, which you played it right, Angie.
Yes.
If anyone is listening that is going to be on the 4th season that hasn't filmed yet, you played it right. You got the time boost and you went back.
Mhm.
Don't you have another time boost, right? This is your second one that you've had?
I've got the same one that I've had all along. I haven't had to use it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, yeah, because yes, I remember you played one that I was like, I would have had to use the time boost, but you didn't. You're good. You went back to the floor and you didn't keep playing.
Right.
Some of these people are getting the time boost and
Use it.
using it and playing. I'm like, no. People are scared of you.
Yeah.
So to me, if you have a time boost and you go back to the floor, you're safe for a while.
Well, it's been funny. I do have to say this. I'm getting a kick out of this. I am not on a lot of message boards, but I get folks who are sending me notes. And apparently on Reddit, they're calling it Angie's Wall, which makes me laugh so hard because now when I look at the aerial view, you can see that it's me and like all my ducks like behind the mother duck. And it's really funny because I think not only has my time boosting category preserved me this far, but it's preserved the people behind me. And now we're starting to see that break apart. And I think it's going to be interesting next week to see what happens.
Yes, I'm
I'm
so
excited.
So, Brad, tell me.
And
Go for it.
Angie, do you see what Jacob says in the
I
chat?
did. I'm not even honoring Jacob with a response. We have a chatter who is spreading terrible rumors. James, I don't think was listening that second or first episode, but Brad intimated that perhaps Andrew and I were dating. And I said, Andrew's like 19, and that's just gross. And now it's just become a funny little gag reel. But
It is a gag. That is not true, listeners. Rebecca, Angie has nothing going on with Andrew.
I'm
all.
not fully attached. Thank you.
It'll be on Reddit tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be on Reddit tomorrow.
But we are taking Angie and Andrew on the Maury Povich show next week.
We're 110%.
Not the girlfriend.
Not going on Maury Povich. Oh man. So I got to ask James before we lose him, just because I know he might be getting to where he needs to be. I'm just curious, if you had not been challenged last night, right? If you had not been Kevin's last target and maybe he went for accessories or national parks or something else, what do you think your trajectory might have been? Or what would you have liked it to have been? What would have been your move
I
if you
think
were picked?
if I wasn't picked, I would have went first. Like if he went back to the floor, it'd have landed back on me first. Because in regard to the order of how everyone was picked, I was picked by like 3rd episode, and I was the last one left based off of like being picked off of that 3rd episode. So it would return back to me. Everybody knows at the show, I was talking math about where this little thing would land every time. Every time they said, let's pull it out, I was like, it's going to go over into that left-hand corner. And where did it go? To the left-hand corner. Yes, like algorithms and math and all that extra fun stuff. I really like that. So it was a way to figure that out. But let's talk about one thing. What category did you want, Angie? I feel like I was in a corner that I had, right? There were other categories that were miles away from me that I couldn't grab, that I wanted to grab. I mean, I could have done the Shakespeare one as well because, again, the BFA musical theater. And I knew, like, I didn't do the pop because I knew that pop era wasn't going to be what we think is pop. Janet, Michael, right? So I
Right.
left that alone because it's a very Gen Z world that we live in. And also watching the game play and seeing what will pop up on the screen taught me how would this be presented to me in regards to their category, because not everything's going to be up front, right? It's going to be creative take on some of these categories or how it's going to be presented to you, right? So it's about playing that game. And I was like, well, in the corner I'm set up in, it's quite challenging.
McQueen! McQueen! I've missed y'all so
What
much.
categories were you looking at? For me,
Well,
I went wrestling.
Yeah, to answer, Kevin just came in. James asked me if there's a category I would have wanted to play thus far. And it's funny you just came in because college mascots is what I wanted to play. I was
Ooh.
ready. It's one of the categories I had suggested to producers during my audition process. So I was really hoping that I could get to do all that, even if it would mean taking Lily out of the game. But Kevin got a chance to do that instead. So I'm glad he's here. It's a really good segue to talk to him.
Kevin, hey, Kevin, good to see you. Hey, can you go out and come back in and hit the echo,
Cancellation.
the echo cancellation? Because I'm getting a lot of echo.
I can sure do that. 1 sec.
Thanks, Kev. Okay. He's kind of loud,
And I
too.
was about to head out myself anyway, and I also just want to say, I also think when I was studying Angie, because I was studying Angie, she was one of the people, and Kara, I was studying you and Kara, because you're a plethora of abilities, right? You're a plethora, and it's quiet, and it's deadly. And so this made me think, well, what are my abilities, and what are my quiet abilities that no one else would know? I think you held down on that in so many different ways, like how we talked about the flowers, and I was like, oh, you would want flowers,
Yeah.
So, and I think I'm saying this because as you go to audition for the floor and you're on the floor, think about those things around you and how other people connect to different categories that could be on that floor, and what also are your personal strengths.
Definitely. That's a great tip.
I love you, Angie.
Love you.
You know this.
Love
You're
you.
the world.
Thanks for joining us today. I'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys.
Bye, McQueen.
I'll chat with you later.
Oh, it's still.
Okay.
Are we still hearing the echo here?
Yeah, let
Yeah.
me log out again, guys. I can't
Yeah.
figure out this. It doesn't have the option until I log in, but I'll try to work it out here.
It went away.
Yeah.
Help
Oh,
to
maybe
not
not.
use earbuds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get those
yeah,
off.
Take your butt. Yeah. Okay. While he's doing that, let's talk about the first duel, Heidi. Let's get into that because we're
All
already
right,
seven.
let's go for it. So we actually had 8 in this episode. We started with, and I'm gonna butcher the name, so apologies. Nori was on the floor and he decided to stay. So that was the way it got kicked off. So he didn't go for the first duel. So then we had Dan being the first person going, and he picked Ali, who had spin-off bands. So any thoughts on that one?
Well, that was his only choice, right? That was kind of the funny thing.
That's
We all,
right.
yeah, it wasn't like, oh, what's he gonna pick? And
That's
so
right.
that was interesting. I mean, my first thought is spin-off bands. I tried to study for that. There are not a lot of them, and I think it's kind of a loosey-goosey definition of what it means to be a spin-off band, like Band-Aid, and what?
That was a hard one. That was really
Yeah.
hard. It was.
Yeah.
I think it was like complete the sentence, right, with the blank and then a word. And some of those some of those were easy, and some of those were like, what? So
Yes.
that was, at least for me, that was a really hard one.
I crushed that category. But I didn't know what it was going to be. I was thinking they were going to do like Jefferson Airplane to Jefferson Starship. That's what I was thinking. But most of them, I was like, oh, it's just a band. I know this. I can do this. So
Oh, interesting.
in my mind, I was thinking Heidi's probably thinking Brad's got this. Like it was pretty easy. What did you think, Claire?
Oh yeah, no, I would have been creamed.
Me
It
too.
was so hard. I knew like Foo Fighters,
Yes.
like the Charles Barkley. Like I could do some of Gnarls Barkley. Like I could do some of those, but like I actually had to read the song title up at the top
Me too.
for it to like make a little bit more sense to me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think everybody expected Foo Fighters to be there. They're probably the number one spin-off band of my generation, at least. But the others, I felt it was just name the band. I think the idea of
Yeah.
spin-off just kind of went out.
Yeah.
the window.
It was named the band. Jacob in the chat says the key to the whole episode was learn to pass quickly.
Yeah, Kevin's the king of the good pass.
Yes.
He knows
Hey,
when to
Kevin.
say, I'm done.
Kevin, it's so good to have you on the show, by the way. I enjoy watching you play.
Oh no.
Oh, you're,
Now we have no
We either
volume,
get the
Kev.
echo or we get nothing. I like that. Let's pretend what he's saying right now.
We'll read his
Uh,
list.
On
it-
the on the microphone little button down below, you might be able
Yeah,
to
this-
use your computer microphone.
Yeah, use the computer mic. That probably would work.
You gotta change
Why
the
he-
setting there real quick.
While he's doing that, what was the next category,
Well,
Heidi?
so before we go into the next category, the winner was actually Dan. So Dan stayed up at the top for the next duel, and this is where we were talking earlier. It's so cool because everyone wanted to keep on playing because we are just so close to the end. So Dan picked Mick, and Mick had British invasion, which, by the way, I wasn't quite sure what the heck British invasion meant.
Oh, I knew it. I was ready. I crushed this category, man. This was like right up my.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one I knew you would crush.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you-
it.
Go ahead, Brad.
I was gonna say, if anybody listening likes the British invasion, I interviewed Peter Asher on Work Advice for Me from Peter and Gordon, part of the original British invasion bands. So yes, I was ready for this. I was like, I'm gonna crush this, and I did.
So
Well, I have to say, the British invasion in terms is, from the 60s. And we're looking at folks like, Herman's Hermits and old groups.
The Beatles.
And the Beatles, yes. And when I studied, and I did study a little bit, they were all white guys with really bad haircuts. And it was really hard to tell them apart. So I remember thinking, okay, I'm just going to rally up, whatever I can think of. When they presented it, it was very interesting because folks like Adele and the Spice Girls popped up. So they clearly took it out of the 60s and brought it all the way to present day. Basically, any group with its roots in Britain was fair game. And once again, it was really Name the Band.
It was.
But they did all have the UK in common, and I think that was a fun category. I appreciated it. I thought it was a competitive category. I think they both did all right with that.
The Eurythmics got me. I didn't get the Eurythmics. I've never been a Eurythmics guy, but I love who's the guy that Mick beat? What was his name?
The guy that
That was Dan.
Dan was just like, okay, and he just walks away like it's just like, okay, I'm done, whatever.
He's like, I'm done. I've been standing. I'm done. I'm out.
I'm done. Get me to my couch.
Give me to my
I've
couch.
been standing for 8 days. I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Kevin's voice now. And
Hey, yes, Kevin is here.
yay!
After 7 or 8 technical difficulties, I have made it finally.
Welcome, welcome. And we're
You
just in
might-
time to get your whole trajectory from episode 11 anyway. So it's perfect timing.
This was
I
your
appreciate
episode.
you.
For the record, this is your episode.
I think it is. Yeah, that's what my friends were saying at the end of the night last night. After they were screaming, "Go back to the floor" at me for like 25 minutes.
Ah,
Which one was it where Kevin? You can tell. Which one was it where they stayed up and who's the guy? I think he's the guy that lost to Megan, our first ever.
Oh.
He's the one that was like bad decision. Remember he said that he was like bad decision.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was a bad decision. I think you get there. Is it right, Kevin? You just you only live once. Just go for it, right?
Yeah, I think it was that. I think it was, I knew we had 3 duels left, and I kind of, once you get up there, you look at the board, and I was like, I think I could get that one. I think I could get that one. And I really want $20,000. So I think I could get that one too. And you just kind of pick your spots, and but it's wild. It's definitely wasn't like I got up there and I'm like, I'm going to stay up here the whole time for sure. I thought about going back, but
Well, it's so interesting because I think from the first duel, who Dan won, it was he kept game shows, and from that it triggered down all the way to the end of the episode, which I think is very interesting.
It
Yeah,
was pretty wild.
Yeah.
we did. And Paul, because we're working through the episodes, Kevin. That's what we do each week. And so we just finished talking about not the episodes, the duels. We just finished talking about duel number 2. And so when Mick wins that, he decides to go for Paul, right, Heidi, and medieval times.
That would be the
Yeah.
third one, and that's medieval times. That's
And
right.
Paul was one of the first people to say, you know what, I'm not going back. He's
Yeah.
like, basically, if I go back, somebody, my worst nightmare, might come after me. So I'm going to stay. And I think Kevin basically showed just stay up there, maintain control as long as you can. I think Paul kind of started it, and then Kevin finished it out.
Yeah.
Question about Paul, and I can't remember the answer. He was like, relationship management, relationship
expert.
expert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite interesting.
It's
And then
better.
him asking about the other guy, "Are you single?"
Yeah.
That was great.
And
Better
Mick
better
was
to
like,
be a whole half than a half of a whole.
Yes,
Yes.
That's
And-
that's it. That's exactly right. Yeah.
and Mick was like Austin Powers, like the ultimate bachelor. He's like, yeah, baby, yeah. You want a shag, baby? Yeah. It's like
Brad.
he had the necklace on. Like I was like, that guy's living the dream, man. He has no woman saddling him down. That's for
Oh.
sure. Oh,
I hope
He was
your
an
wife's
interesting
listening.
guy.
We just lost half our viewers there.
I'm just kidding, Rebecca. I'm just kidding. I love my wife. She's great.
So Paul won that one, and then he actually went for our friend Megan. Vegas. So that was a cool one. Any thoughts on that one?
Oh my gosh. Okay. As someone who like literally loves Vegas, I knew every single one
Yep.
and I was screaming at the TV, Wayne Newton, Wayne
Oh,
Newton.
that one especially. That one especially. You know you're going to go for Vegas. How do you not know like Mr. Las Vegas? I mean,
Yes.
I mean, absolutely. Whenever I was texting with Megan, whenever I knew that she had, just kidding. I didn't know anything
Oh, Claire,
at
you're
about what categories Megan was
good save. Good
getting.
save.
But whenever I found that out from the earlier episode, I thought for sure Wayne Newton would come up. And no, but for sure, if you've watched like you could pick up any of those if you've just watched Vegas Vacation.
100%.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of pop Vegas culture. I think the ones that would throw people would be the hotels, because sometimes they can look alike, but there were so many good clues with the Luxor and the lights and the New York with the statue. They were pretty good. I thought easy to identify as well.
They should have shown Papa Giorgio. They should have done that.
Yeah,
Like you would just show Papa Giorgio, and you're like, "Oh man, Vegas Vacation, we got this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and I will say I was screaming, video poker.
Oh, that was tough too because she had slots right before that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
she had
yeah.
slots, and then he, I think when you're up there, you're so locked in, you're not even paying attention to what the other person gets or says. You're just like, what is in front of me?
Which I was going to say, like, to me, if I was going to do this again, now that I know that y'all can see the name of what you pass on, because we didn't have that my season, Kevin. I don't know if you've listened, but
Yeah.
so if that were me, I would never say it out loud, like what I had. You know how if it said,
point.
say it was video poker. Oh, video poker.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away to the
Right.
person that's across from me that's already been played.
Right.
That's
So
true.
people that were saying it out loud, I was like,
I think I
terrible
said it out
strategy.
loud every time I passed.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'd be like, oh shit, like I could have known that one, or like, oh yeah.
well, I wasn't
like,
calling
Wait.
you out directly, but
yeah.
Wait, I'm confused. Kevin. When you're up there, can the person you're playing against, they can't see what you're looking at?
No,
No.
so you have no idea.
Oh, I didn't. Heidi, did you know that, Heidi?
No, but I noticed some of them look at the main screen, and when they look
Some
at the main
do.
screen, they can see it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what makes
So-
it. It's what makes it so incredible when people freeze up because
Right.
if it's not your turn, you're looking at a blank screen. And
Right.
If there's anything on your screen,
Say
is your turn. It is
Yes.
your turn. Like,
Well,
don't-
then that makes it even more confusing why people just sit there and go, "I thought it was your turn, bro." Because
don't know.
if you're looking at it, it's weird to
know.
me.
yeah, it's.
I'm gonna be
you know, Rob's intimidating. You don't know. You know, there's a lot going on.
Brad,
Kevin. If you and I were dueling, I would stare you right in the eyes the whole time.
I'd
I
be
just
looking right
wouldn't
over
even
your head,
blink.
Brad. I'd be staring. Right
You
over
would. I'm a short dude, so you would definitely look right over my head.
So for that duel, Megan crushed it. And then I actually like the moment where she's like, "Can I ask a question?" or whatever it was
Yeah.
that she's to interrupt.
That
It's
was
like,
great.
"What happens now?" That was great,
My
right?
friends all were like, "Was that scripted?" I was like, "No, she was just." I mean, we were all kind of wondering what happened next, but like she was so calm and cool when she delivered that, and like it did seem almost scripted. It was so perfect.
Yeah. She was calm, collected. She's like, "Can I ask?" And then they showed that. I thought that was great. Great composure, great question too on the
Mhm.
spot, right? So then Megan picked. She's like looking around, and she's like, "Well, art supplies. I'm gonna go for Kevin." So she went for Kevin. Any thoughts on that one?
Scary. It was scary to get picked up there. You know, I too, in the middle of an episode, like, you don't want to get picked in the middle of an episode, I don't think, because you know if you win, you've got a target on your back for the rest of the episode. So that late with that, when it's like 80 squares or whatever it was, I was like, God, I don't want to get picked until the finale. Like, please don't. And then it's just like all your dreams go out the window when you get picked, and you're just like, well, even if I win this one, I'm going to be, you know, number one target for the rest of it. So. Yeah,
so Kevin, what did you do to hide? Were you like, I'm not gonna look, or you're like, I'm staring?
No.
What's the strategy here?
I stared. I was like, I mean, we were all so tired by that point. It was like,
Yes.
I don't even care if I do lose. Like, I want to just like change what I'm doing, either stand on something else or go somewhere else or just move. So I was kind of relieved in a sense, like, hey, it's either over or at least I'm doing something different than just waiting down here for my moment.
Angie, I feel like we've heard that a good bit this season. This has been a common theme. Claire, Heidi, people are like, I was tired. I was just like, I'm ready to go for it. And
I think well, yeah, I'm going to mention, I think for a lot of folks, there was a fatigue setting in combined with anxiety, and which is a very strange combo, because not only are you tired, but you're itching to do something. And I think for a lot of folks, especially if they hadn't dueled much, they were like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I think it was like a big push toward the end. I also think for Kevin, it was tough because art supplies is a lot like school supplies.
Yeah.
And when you look at that board at the end, out of all of the options, you had to, I mean, I think we all knew it was coming, and it was like, you know, and it's a great category. It was fun. It was visually appealing. It's another one that everybody can play along with, you know, the kids from school, the grandparents, everybody shouting chalk, you know, so it's a good category.
I was surprised it took that long to get called. I was like, I'm going to get picked early because it's an easy one, but somehow, I don't know.
And Kevin, why? Give us the background of why somehow they give you art supplies.
I think my background was something like this when I interviewed. I had a bunch of paintings that me and my son had done, and at the time I was working as an artist recruiter for a studio, so it was one of the ones they pitched right away for me. I was like, yeah, that'd be fine. I wanted to do something more like specific or niche to things I like, but I was like, you know, I'll take that. It's at least something I feel fairly confident in. And yeah,
Kevin,
too bad.
Kevin, do you think the I have this theory. One, I think if you go on the floor, you need to get a category that really intimidates people.
Mm-hmm.
And even if like my best friend Keelan, you know, I feel like you got this. Rebecca just chatted. She just said compared to the periodic table for sure. People are scared of that.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to do that. But I want to ask you, I got to address something while you're here. Are you a Survivor fan? Because I want to go back to last week because I'm literally texting Heidi when you met. I'm like, oh my gosh. And Heidi's at her event. She's not even watched it yet. So she's like, I don't know what Brad's talking about. So then like 5 days later, she texts me and she goes, oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
So I watched the first few seasons. I know reality TV. I know Jeff Probst. I like talk about Survivor with my friends all the time. They're fanatics. I literally got home from Ireland. They were like, how'd it go? I was like, the only thing I'm going to tell you is there's one answer. You're going to absolutely murder me for it. Like, you're going to never let me forget this answer. And you will know what it is when it happens. And like right away when that happened, my friends tore me apart for that. But it's like one of those things, you know, you say, I think I said James Probst or something. And I was like, it's like, you don't want to waste your time drumming around in your head to try to find the right one. So it's like, I know that's not right. It's not going to come to me, whatever. And then right when it pops up on the screen, you're just like, oh my God, what is it? It's rough.
You could have just said Chris Harrison. That'd have been a little bit in the same.
Close. Yeah, that was not my proudest moment.
You were fine.
Rob Lowe.
I think if they would have said Phil Keegan or whatever from Amazing Race, that would have been harder. But
Yes.
Jeff has been around for like
That's the
25
thing.
plus
He's
years.
been in my life since I was like, 10 years old. Like, I know that guy front and back. It blows my mind. It's weird what your brain does when you're up there. That's for sure.
I'm sure.
Well, that proves the point what we're talking about tonight, right? You're just standing there and you just have it. Me as a couch potato watching, all of y'all played reality TV, so y'all know how it goes. I don't.
All right. So, go ahead. Anybody? Any other comments?
I was just going to say before we move on, because Heidi's about to say that you won that battle.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that I like you.
Yes.
Because Megan is
Yes.
my girl.
Trust me,
Like,
I love
Yes.
Morgan.
That was so hard too. To
Yeah.
yes,
I think
I-
when we got down to the end, I mean, we all were pretty close. So it's like it was brutal no matter what. Like everyone I knocked out this episode, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to leave. It was nice, knowing that I'd see them probably later, but it was sad. Yeah. And Megan, especially, she's just so cool and like was so much fun. And, but she challenged me. I had to do it. I had to do it, Claire. I'm sorry.
you gotta
Claire,
do
I was
better
sad
now.
too. She's our first ever guest on here,
Yeah.
Megan.
God.
So I'm rooting for anyone that's been on our show. That's who I'm rooting for, and we're sitting 4 for 8 right now. So I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
50%.
excited.
That's counting you, Kevin. I'm counting you in there.
I'll take that.
present company included.
Yeah. I like
We
it.
have a few 20K winners here too, so I like that.
Ooh, yeah, not bad.
Not me.
Rebecca wants to know, Claire, Angie, and Kevin, would you do Survivor? She doesn't even ask me. I like how Rebecca's like, I'm not even going to
Oh,
acknowledge
Brad.
Brad. She asked everybody but me if I would do Survivor. No, I wouldn't, Angie. No, I wouldn't, Rebecca.
Hopefully she knows that I've been in Survivor because she didn't ask me either. But I already
She knows you've been in Survivor.
Yeah. I absolutely would. I think I would love to do a show like that. I think that'd be so much fun. God, I think
Well,
it'd be so
since
much
you
fun.
know the host now,
I do. I'd probably call him James just as a joke to see if anybody caught it. But
I would consider it, but I would need at least a year to get in slightly better conditioning.
I-
You just do the Survivor diet.
Okay, I want that. Put that in my Instagram message, and I'll work on that.
All that means is not eating really. So
Oh, great. Okay, yeah, I like food. That's my thing. I like food, and I don't want to poop in a hole in the woods. I got to be honest. I'm going to be blunt. I'd have a real tough time adjusting. I think I would probably pass. I think there's some other shows out there I've got my eyes on that I would probably be better suited for, and I'll leave guys like Kevin to go and show off his guns and build fires and do all that good fun stuff.
I've always loved
No way Claire does Survivor. No way.
so I actually went to audition for Survivor.
What?
And it was pouring. You're gonna love this. It was pouring rain. I was on the phone with my mom. The line is wrapped around the building. Like I there's no way I haven't told you guys this story. But if-
You've never shared this story, Claire.
Nope.
so I mean, it is wrapped around the building. There's no parking. The closest parking spot is like a 5-minute walk away, and it is just coming down. And I was like, Mom, this sucks. Like, I'm gonna have to stand out in the rain. And like, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna be drenched. Like, I won't even look cute for my interview. And my mom goes, you know what, Claire? I think this is a really good sign that you shouldn't be on Survivor.
Right?
And I was like,
I was just thinking that.
you're right. So I just stayed in my car and drove home. So I had every intention, but then I was like, no, it's rainy.
Better to learn that in the parking lot than on the island day one.
Then Fiji, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but once you're in the island, your competitiveness kicks in, and you're like balls to the wall kind of thing,
Yeah.
going all in.
Absolutely.
There was a girl that I competed with. Well, I guess we didn't compete at the same time, but in the same organization at Miss Oklahoma that ended up being on Survivor. Her name's Tori Meehan.
Oh, I know who she is. I don't
Yeah.
know her, but I know exactly who she is.
Yeah, I guess I could say the exact same thing, Heidi. I don't know her, but I know who she is.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know her and I don't know who she is. So, hey,
so Kevin wins.
yes.
He's my girl.
Kevin wins, and that's only duel number 5 for the record. There's a few more to come. So
Couple more.
Kevin picked Lily for college mascots, which would have been Angie's category.
I wanted that so bad.
Oh my gosh, I love that category.
I would own that backwards and forwards, and I
Yeah,
was
I was-
excited.
I was expecting it to go a little deeper, I think, and so I was kind of, you wanted, like, I was hoping my UW Badgers would come up and I could get to shout out my school, but
Yep.
no dice, unfortunately. But
Lily had a hard time. I feel like she probably knew the mascot name, but not what university was associated with that. So she had a hard time on that one. Go ahead,
I was
Claire.
surprised she got the one Alabama mascot by the name of the mascot, and even I remember that moment being like, "Who the hell is Big Al? Whatever the hell it was."
But she couldn't get Clemson. I was like,
Ohio
Or
State.
Michigan State. No.
Yeah.
The Michigan State one, yeah.
Well, Michigan State was an easy. Well, I guess maybe for me, but yeah, there were a few.
It was
that were-
easy.
I wish I could let her off the hook, but she has had college mascots for a couple of episodes at this point.
Yep.
Like study, because that was painful for me to watch. Like, and I am basically saying the same thing that people say about my duel whenever I lost. It was also very painful, but like there's a finite amount of college mascots.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of them, yeah, Ohio State, Jacob, like that. Yeah, there were so many that you would know. They play in the championships. Like that was really tough, but Kevin, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, you did good. You even knew sorry puke. So I mean, it was all that. You know, you
No,
knew do.
Fun fact, just for everybody listening, does anybody want to guess what is the most common mascot in college athletics?
A tiger.
That's
Tiger,
got to
yeah.
be a bulldog or a
A
tiger.
bulldog.
A bear. A bear.
Eagles.
Oh,
Eagles.
birds, yeah.
Oh.
Eagles are variations of eagles, including things like Hawkeyes and Screaming Eagles and Golden Eagles and all of the eagles.
Okay, there's a lot of eagles.
Saying it's kind of a fetish I have. I'm a college.
Gosh.
Well, that didn't come.
Are
out
you into furries? Are you into people that dress like
it's the mascot. It's the thing. It's like the oversized head. It just really does something for me.
They've got positive vibes, you know. They're very optimistic. The
They
mascots.
are, and they're just so damn friendly. You know, they're just so nice. But no, I'm a college. I mean, I've been a professor for this my 30th year. But I also run a college consultancy, so I'm constantly helping kids with admissions, and I get tons of promo material. My office is wall to wall posters, calendars, bobbleheads, like it's mascot central. So I have a good time with that. But yeah, I thought it was a fun fact. Eagles are, statistically speaking, the most common.
I like that.
told Lily, I go, when in doubt, say Eagles, Tigers, Bears, Dogs. You're bound to hit something, and I think that's what she tried to do. So.
Am I making this up? But Kevin, did you say the Bengals or did I make that up? Maybe you said Cincinnati.
I said Cincinnati. Yeah, I said Cincinnati, and then right away when I said that, I was like, "That's not it." So, boom.
Well, that'd be the Bearcats, right? That's Cincinnati Bearcats. Yeah, Bearcats.
Well, but like it was a tiger though when he said it.
He
so
did.
It was like that's why I was like maybe the Bengals.
I think I was thinking Bengals. I was like, I don't know. I was like, just go.
And that was the Auburn. That was the Auburn Tigers. That that was
They gave me
tough.
some good crap for that. They gave me some good crap for that.
You were just saying like fun fact, Angie, about the Eagles. It's another fun fact to know that you like the big heads on the mascot, and then that's your fetish. And you know what? We are not here to yuck anyone's yum.
No.
But I'm happy that you shared that with us. I really.
Yes.
Claire,
I feel like your family. I feel like there's certain things I can let out now, and Kevin's family is my floor family, so you'll know.
As
know
a
what's going on.
big-headed person, I appreciate that there's people out there who still, are into it. So that's good.
Claire, her new show on the Hopecast Network is Big Head Mascots. That's what it's going to be called. And she just talks to mascots all the time.
That would actually be a great.
That actually would be really good. I know a couple of mascots. Neil.
Oh my gosh.
One of our floor friends.
Mm-hmm.
Neil. He was a Tiger Hawk. He was the Herky the Hawkeye for the University of Iowa for a few years. So,
oh wow.
Yep.
Oh.
Did he have a scholarship for that?
He did not. He was a student, and he's a tinier dude. He's petite, and he fit into the costume and was able to do that for a couple of years. But no, it was not a scholarship.
Do they scholarship mascots? Because if they do, I'm gonna make my son start being one.
I was gonna say if you would have said yes, I was gonna train my kids to be the mascots.
No,
you're thinking like me.
An audition process, from what I understand.
Oh my gosh!
A lot of Spirit Squad.
All right.
Yes.
Moving on, because I think you all can tell that Kevin killed it, right? And Kevin went for, is it Neri on stand-up comedian?
Yeah.
That was. I would have been
Very
terrible
Neri.
at it. I knew a couple. My kids were yelling, "Trevor Noah, Trevor!" They love him. But yeah, tell us about that one, Kevin.
I was pretty scared for that one because I knew, he is a comedian. I know he knew his stuff, and it was just one of the ones I felt pretty confident in because I love comedy and like I've been going to stand-up shows most of my whole life, so I felt pretty good about it. But I was like, this is going to be the one that I might lose on. I was like, he is really knowledgeable. He knows his stuff. And it was. I mean, that was close. That was a close one. I didn't even realize how
Very
close.
2 seconds. I
I
felt.
watched last night. Yeah, and my friend goes, "If you would have lost on Noah Trevor, I would have murdered you."
Oh my
We're
gosh.
so
Noah
close.
Trevor. And I was like, "Yeah, I was 2. I didn't realize I was 2 seconds away. You don't know how close you are." Like
I
it's
was
crazy.
like, just say Noah one more time because if
Yeah.
you said Noah, Trevor, Noah, it would have
Yeah.
been like, okay.
Right.
Oh.
I have to say, there's a clip of me after that, and I believe I said friggin' or freaking, which was very close to swearing. I said that was so freaking close.
You were very chatty in the episode, Angie. They caught a lot of what you're saying. Kevin, the guy you went up, what was his name? Neri? Was it Neri?
Mary, yeah.
Mary.
He ended with you the same way the guy ended with him
Mhm.
on the beer challenge. The guy's like, "Oh, you beat me with the time," and he's like, "You beat me."
Yeah.
I was like, same way they went out. They went out the same way.
Yeah.
I would be guessing.
He learned from it, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it was, and I think he went out on Bo Burnham too, who's like one of my favorites. I was like,
Yeah. The real quick, because I think earlier in the episode, Megan said, I think she was kind of going through all the categories and she mentioned this one as a possibility for her. And fun fact, when we had Megan in this show a few weeks back, she said that she met Claire at a roast. Is that right, Claire, or did I make that up? I didn't make it up. It's right.
No, you're right. We met at the roast of Alec Baldwin.
no way.
5 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
And then that's like how I was on the show, and then she reached out to me about being on the floor, and
No
we've
way.
been like pals since. So again, really glad I like you.
Yeah, it would have been rough.
Yes.
Terrible person.
But it would have been interesting to see her there, and like it would have been, a whole connection with you there. That would have been interesting.
It's
All
so
right,
wild.
so-
It's so wild.
Yeah, and so Kevin won that one. That got you that boost, time boost. Which, by the way, they didn't really say too much about it, but I think we all knew that you got it.
Yep.
And then you went into the very last one, and you used the time boost for the last one. You picked James for news personality, and we had James earlier in the episode today.
Yeah.
So that was the very last one.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed they cut out because I think I said something on stage, like, when I was picking, I was something like, if I don't win 20K, I wanted to go to somebody that I've become pretty close with here. And I said, I'll go with McQueen and news personalities. And they cut it out. And I was like, God. And then I think we got up there, we said like 20K either way, we're both, going to be happy for the other one. And I think they want that drama. They want that, like, we're not friends. We're fighting against each other type of
So,
vibe.
but like, I have to ask. Because this is what I would do. I would say that to make people like me at home.
Sure.
And then in my mind, I'd be like, screw you, pal. I'm about to annihilate you on this
Yeah.
TV
I
screen.
mean, again, though, I was just like, get me in a chair. Like, I don't want to stand on the floor anymore. So, like, either way, I either get 20K or I get to go sit the hell down. And that's almost worth 20K at that point, anyways.
I can't. I've said on here numerous times, so I can't say I would not. I would definitely not want to lose to anyone on there. I've said that on here. I don't care how much I like Heidi. I want to beat her if I'm going against her.
I mean, there's always the like, hey, good luck to you, but I'd still like to beat you. But if I was gonna lose, I'd like to lose to somebody I like, And so I was like, I'll get him up here because initially I was gonna do comedians last because I thought that's the one I'd probably lose in. Most realistically, I knew he knew his stuff so well, and I was like, I'll give it to McQueen, who I was pretty close with at the end of the week.
There were a couple I was shocked that he didn't know.
On the
Yeah,
news personality.
yeah, there were some big ones.
Yeah.
Connie Chung, but I loved his commentary
Sorry,
after he said it.
Connie.
Like, sorry, Connie Chung.
Sorry,
Oh,
Connie.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No. Who was the other one? Oh, he's like, oh, that's my girl. That's Robin Roberts.
Yeah, and then
He had this commentary. It was cute.
it was somebody else who's like, oh, I don't know you, Pookie, and I was like,
Yeah, I don't know you,
Pookie. So much.
And then he said, who did he say was Christiane Amanpour?
Oh,
or
yeah.
It was
Meredith,
Connie Chung, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Connie Chung, yeah.
and then he didn't know
Yeah.
Meredith Vieira. That was
Meredith
interesting. He's
Vieira.
like, I don't know you, Pookie.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I-
You know what I want you? I mean, like in my mind, whenever they showed Meredith Vieira, I was like, okay, they're not going to use her as a game show host from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire days
Right.
because like they don't really do any overlap. So I was wondering if there were going to be any that they used. But
Interesting.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kevin, the Meredith Vieira thing, I would have gotten that, but you're right, Claire, on the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Your category is game shows now, right? Am I right?
Yes,
It's game shows.
Game show host.
Okay. Game show host. I'm ready for that category.
I feel like they should bring her just to like be Claire. They put her again.
I know if they do, I'm gonna freak out. That'd be awesome.
Unlikely, but I wish they do just to throw a little wrinkle there.
Yeah.
Don't
My-
tell us, Kevin and Angie.
my lips are zipped. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, wait. I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh,
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh no.
You-
Uh-oh.
I can pick bones with these people
You
weekly.
can't. Yeah,
You're this
sign
week.
me up.
Okay, Megan.
Maybe
Kelly,
next week.
You pass.
Yeah. Okay. So again, in my strategy when I'm up there, I'm like, I know that person. If the name doesn't come to me right away, I'm passing. Like I'm not gonna be the one up there like, it's and then 8 seconds are gone. Like I saw her, I'm like, Fox News, I think. I know it's Megan. I couldn't remember the last thing. And I was like, pass. Like,
Oh, Megyn Kelly. I wanted to pick that. Claire, I'm with you. Like Megyn Kelly, one of the prettiest former Fox News anchors they had. So I was like, definitely Megyn Kelly. But
Well,
Kevin, I want to ask
she
you
was
this.
The whistleblower, and they made Bombshells, the
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
after
yeah.
her and Gretchen Carlson and oh man, one other
Another one.
blonde.
One other,
Yeah.
Fox.
what they used to call them foxes.
Something like that.
Oh,
That
Kevin,
tracks. That
Kevin,
tracks.
I want to ask you, Kevin. I was kind of frustrated with you in this aspect. I didn't want you to use your 5 second yet.
yeah.
That
I
was-
wanted you to take it to the finale because with your 5 seconds, I feel like you paused one time
Yep.
and you were like, huh, and then there goes your 5 seconds. And I'm like, well, gosh, now he's wasted it. And luckily James doesn't know Connie Chung, so you squeaked, you won that one. But I wanted you to have that in your hip pocket.
I don't know how much time I had left. Like it was probably more than 5 seconds, I think. But I was like, it's better safe than sorry. Better to get 20K now. I'm gonna have a target on my back no matter what next week. So I was like, I'm throwing everything at it to get this 20K. Just
Which-
whatever
and
I
thank
can do
goodness
right
you
now
did.
to play it safe.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you
They
did get 20 grand,
did.
so that's yeah.
What did you do with the money, Kevin?
When I checked my bank account the day before the episode aired, I was like, "Whoa, that's nice." I was a little surprised, didn't see it, didn't realize how fast it would come in. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. Maybe a trip, maybe put it towards a house or something. I'm kind of trying to figure it out. Everyone keeps asking me that. I don't know. You guys got any good ideas?
pull the taxes out first.
Come to St. Louis. Bring Aiden and Haley to St. Louis for a weekend, and I'll show you the town. It's a great place for kids
I
who
didn't know
love it.
St. Louis is that expensive. I'm gonna spend 20K in a weekend, Angie. That's,
No,
my God.
Angie only goes to the finest restaurants in St. Louis.
Top of the arch.
I guess I meant with the pennies you have left over.
Yeah.
Come and see me in St.
I
Louis.
would love
Well,
to.
that's-
I really want to do like a tour de floor and just go visit everyone.
I do as well. I do as well.
Kevin, where do you live?
Yeah,
I live in
gonna ask.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh,
Wow.
Angie, is that where Tim's live? Is that where Tim lives too?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
Okay.
And Andrew is there as well.
Andrew too. Kevin, I'm right next door. I'm in Minnesota, so we're like,
nice. I'm
yeah,
from
we're-
Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota originally, so
what part?
just south of the cities, Bloomington,
Okay.
Litchfield, Burnsville,
Okay,
Lakeville.
I moved up here like 4 months ago, so 5 months ago.
Where?
Moved from North Carolina to Hutchinson.
Oh, so you're loving life right now. I heard it was about -20 today. In Minnesota.
Oh, it's right now. The current temperature is 0, and I'm sitting in my garage until I move into my house on next Friday. So I'm freezing.
Yeah.
Um,
Welcome to the great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So when you're in Minnesota, let me know.
Yeah.
And Angie, if you do your tour, Angie or Kevin or Claire, if you do your tour of the floor, invite us. We'll join you for a few legs.
Deal.
I would.
Fun.
I honestly, it is on my plan. In fact, this next week for the finale, a lot of folks are able to travel. They're going either to a New York watch party or they're going to West Coast. And honestly, it's wicked expensive this time of year. And I looked at some pricing and I said, for that cost, I can go visit friends in Nashville, Chicago, Madison, and so that's my plan, is just to kind of pocket that and plan for next year and go make the rounds. Because honestly, we've built such great relationships, and I really do think it'd be fun to meet each other on a more casual level and meet each other's families. And I've heard so much about Aiden, and he's like this little dude. I'm like, oh, I got to go meet that kid, and it's just really neat.
You even gave him a little call out in the episode. He was he was beaming. He was losing his mind last night. I'll tell you that.
It's awesome.
And Kevin, I'm sorry, Kevin, what do you do for a living? Because I see you're at Food Film, and I'm very curious what that means.
Yeah, that's for a little podcast I do. That's Fast Food Film Friends. So we have a little podcast where we just talk about movies and fast food. But I have a boring office job. I send emails. I do contracts and stuff. It's nothing flashy by any means, but it's pays the bills. So I'll take it.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I like that.
And Brad, that's right up your alley. Food and film. That sounds
I do. Yeah.
Fine too.
Yeah.
We have a show on our network, Movie Torture. You should listen to it, Kevin. I'm listening to yours.
All right.
And where we get together. You could join us one night as a host if you want. Come on.
I'd love to. I'm guessing you watch bad movies.
We do, but we mostly spend the time talking about other things, maybe 20% of the movie, but
That's
just
what we do. That's what we do on ours too. It's a lot of what's new with you.
we got Angie's going to be on it. You should come on one night and just watch a movie with us.
Sign me up. I love movies.
Okay, I'll be in touch with you.
We love bad movies too. We do a lot of we do a thing called the summer movie wager where we bet on what movies are going to be the biggest at the box office, and then the winner of that gets to pick a movie to make everyone watch, and they're always the worst movies you could ever.
Oh, I've watched some bad ones. We're almost to episode 100, and I've watched some really bad ones. So yeah, I know it is. That's a lot of bad movies. Angie, you may not be able to celebrate with them, but you're going to be doing something even more fun. You're going to be on here talking about the floor, and I hope Kevin gets to come back on. We want Kevin back on next week to
sign me up.
Come in for a few minutes and tell us about what he thought of the last episode.
I mean, we are 2 of the final 9, and I think, I will come next week. Come hell or high water. I can't wait. I've been on this ride with y'all this whole time, and I already talked to Kevin about it. And with that Reality Redux, I'm going to start in January, so I can try my hand at a podcast. Kevin and some of my other season 2 friends have already agreed to come on, and Claire, I'm hoping to connect with some season 1 folks too, and see if we can get them on. And even some season 3 folks have already reached out to me on Instagram because they're already enjoying the show. And so, my goal is just to keep this energy and momentum alive. I know Claire can relate. I mean, it's just a really fun ride. You don't want it to stop. So we'll see if we can just keep it going and just keep the good vibes and fun alive for everybody, especially viewers like, Rebecca, who's chimed in on the chat, which is so fun to see. And it's neat to know that other people are really enjoying what we went through and getting a chance to share that.
Angie, you got to get a good mascot for your podcast.
I need a pot. Dude, you are 100% right. I have to go shop for big heads and see what I can come up with.
I love it.
Jacob in the chat, who also is one of the co-hosts of Movie Torture, Kevin. Jacob brought this to my attention tonight that I don't really watch the preview for the upcoming week. I try to not. Sometimes it gives away too much. He brought up we could see. He said could be stock footage, but what are the odds Angie cries last episode? I think we might. He said I might have seen some tears from Angie, but are we recycling the first episode?
The editing is so wild. I mean, you see things, things I said the day one, coming out like last night. I'm like, that's not how I reacted to anything in that episode. That's for sure.
That's what I told Kevin this in the chat. So I think it was last week. There was a clip out of me praying. Mm-hmm. And my folks are the ones who pointed it out. They sent me a note. My mom's like, oh my gosh, who are you praying for? And I was like, I have no idea. That was in the middle of the girl groups duel, and I had no dog in that fight. I have no idea. And I said, oh, I think it was Kevin or somebody. because I go, it had to be somebody I didn't want to lose, something like that. But it was spliced and diced from who knows when. And the tears, I don't know. I'm a weepy gal. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So they could be, unique to this finale, or they could have been recycled from episode 1. I guess we'll see.
We will talk about that next week. But Angie, you are so nice. I can't imagine you wishing anyone could lose. I feel like if you had your way, everyone would win. I do feel that
100%,
way.
100%. And we all did in our own way, right? I mean, we all won. We all walked away with something pretty special. So I'm going to just hang on to that and hope that carries the momentum into next week. See what happens.
So Kevin, when does your podcast drop during the week so listeners can go listen to you?
We usually drop 1 or 2 episodes a month, so we're pretty irregular. We wait till a movie comes out, something big we want to do. We are recording a new one that'll probably come out next week on a terrible movie called Hot Frosty. I don't know if you've heard of it on Netflix.
Hot Frosty.
Oh my gosh, I've been bringing this up, Kevin. Oh, it's such a crappy movie. I've been telling the guys we got to do this.
I am dreading watching it. I'm like, I can't even believe it's real, and it just looks so bad.
How do these get greenlit? Like at all? Are they just like vanity projects? Like these folks just scrape quarters up from under their couch and get this stuff made?
I don't know. I've got so many better Christmas ideas. Kevin, speaking of Christmas movies, Kara, your castmate from The Floor season 2, Kara, is recording Red One with Jacob and I for a special movie torture Christmas episode. It's on Prime now. Movie looks like garbage.
On Prime?
It's already on Prime.
It bombed. They put it on Prime that fast, huh?
Wow.
And poor Kara has Red One and Joker 2, and Angie has Beetlejuice. So there's some real crappy movies we got up. I'm telling you, these are pretty bad.
Joker 2 was pretty tough. Beetlejuice was not the worst. I mean, that was, if you like the first one, it was pretty solid.
Yeah. No, Kevin. No, the first one was a classic. This one was garbage.
Oh, you can't call it garbage.
It was garbage. Oh my gosh! I don't know if Jacob may have fell asleep in the chat, but it was terrible. It was awful.
Just wait for Hot Frosty.
Yeah,
I watched 30 minutes of it. My wife's like, "This is stupid. Turn it off." And she's like the Christmas movie lover, and I'm like, "Okay, this is dumb."
When you have a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old that all they do during the holidays is watch Christmas movies, you end up watching it. So I watched it for the record. And I love Schitt's Creek, and the guy from it is in Schitt's Creek.
He looks completely different. I couldn't believe that was him.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. My mind.
And Heidi also watched the Merry Gentleman movie. Also, that's one of her. We talked about that last week, Claire.
I did.
Oh my gosh!
It also was terrible.
But Jacob woke up. He said the worst Beetlejuice 2.
Oh no! If you think Beetlejuice 2 is worse than Hot Frosty, I'm taking your microphone away for your movie podcast.
It can't possibly be worse than Hot Frosty. I have to say, and I'm just going to go on record and saying the worst movie I've ever seen is a movie called Tusk. Tusk. And if you haven't seen it,
no, that was filmed in my hometown. First off, it's not terrible, Angie. It's not terrible.
It's
good. I dispute you on that.
Nightmares. I still have nightmares about that movie. It was so. Come on now,
Kevin Smith.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I love how this podcast has evolved into a movie podcast.
So, Brad,
sorry to go off on that tangent.
Brad, before you wrap it up, I question for the 3 floor people. Do they usually give us the categories of the floor before the premiere starts?
I think they've been leaked by some folks in the past, but I do not remember the network giving any promotional material unless people were able to very quickly screenshot promo videos and try to find out if they could read the floor. Yeah. But no, it's always a surprise. So I'm as anxious as everybody to figure out what people will be battling over.
The only time that they did was before the first season, on Christmas, actually. They released a 10-minute promo. So it was an explanation of the game and the first duel. And when they did that, they had the layout of the game with the categories. You couldn't see all of them, but it was some of them. And it was just to get people to understand how the game was played. But it was like basically the first 10 minutes of the first episode.
Yeah.
So here's a food for thought, because I know we're probably gonna be so busy during the finale, so I want to say it now. I want to have some sort of way we do a little fantasy, whether like a fantasy league for the floor for season
Yes.
3. So
Yeah.
either like we pick 1 through 100, or if they give us the cast or the categories, then we get to pick, and we gotta do something. Because Kevin just gave me that idea, right, where the winner does something for the rest. So
Yep.
I totally,
I love it. I love it.
something
I love it. Let's do it. I like it.
for here,
I know for our season there were people on Reddit who had like taken a screenshot of the overhead shot of the floor and were trying to piece together all the categories. So once you know at least all the people, you can pick a squad of 4 or 5 people and see how far they go.
Definitely.
Let's do it. I want to do it.
Let's think about it, and then we'll think offline between the finale and season 3 on how we do this.
Deal.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens next week, right, folks?
I'm excited. Big Kevin, come back, please. And
Hey, sign me up.
and definitely, I want to talk to you offline about coming on Movie Torture with us. That'd be fun.
100%. Yeah. I love terrible movies. I love good movies, and I love talking about movies. So good.
You'll have fun with us then. Hey, for Heidi, for Claire, Angie, always good. I'm waiting to see Angie's tears next week, but they better be tears of joy. And Kevin, new friend of the show, my name is Brad. We will see you next week on the Floor Recap Reality Check with Heidi and Brad.
Bye,
Thank you
folks.
all.
Bye.
Bye, Rebecca.
Whew. That was great.
That
I
was
loved
great.
it.
Awesome.
Kevin